And welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the latest news going on in the Russian-Ukraine war. Again, in this video, we will be discussing the Kharkiv offensive, the Russian offensive in Kharkiv. So let's go over some geolocated footage and some claims by the Russians and the Ukrainians. So as you can see from this geolocated footage, there are some abandoned Russian vehicles, or they were slightly damaged, so they were not moving. And the Ukrainian drone basically comes and finishes them off. As you can see over there in this footage, there is other footage of them finishing off a vehicle with all those men, but YouTube would not allow me to show you guys that. Anyway, moving on to here, this is literally right in Ukraine. As you can see, you're located right there. These are two abandoned Russian vehicles that were also destroyed by Ukrainian drones. Now, according to pro-Russians, they basically control all of this, all of where their flags are. That's where they control in this sector, at least. So that's where they control, according to them, all of this area. So everything in the gray zone, which this map has shown in the gray zone, this is what they control according to these pro-Russians. Now, according to actually proof by reliable sources, this is about what the Russians control right here. And you can see that the Russians have actually captured right now 4 villages, and that's to be expected, because the Ukrainians are not going to have defensive lines or defensive positions in these villages, because it's too close to the combat line, and it can make their troops vulnerable to enemy shelling, and the enemy artillery could be in the border protected, just shelling these dudes oblivion. So what we are likely going to see, we're likely going to see the Russians take the first initial villages, initial towns. What the Ukrainians have to do is they have to allow the Russians to take some villages to back up to better positions, but they have to keep them at a concentrated pocket. So this is a pocket of land. This is a pocket of land. This is a pocket of land. Obviously, it's not going to stay like this forever, but they need to keep the Russians within a small area of control, and that way they can just bomb the Russians, FPV drone them until they realize that this is not worth the fight. Now, if they give the Russians enough space to move, let's say the Russians for some reason capture all this, then the Ukrainians cannot do that strategy that well, because this is too much land for you to cover everything with artillery, with drones. But this is enough land for you to cover with artillery and drones, and even if it's in that pocket. Remember the Ukrainian incursions, or the free Russian incursions into Russia. They did not expand, so they were annihilated and forced to withdraw. And those things were literally just for raids. And then what the Ukrainians can do after they've weakened the Russians in these tiny pockets, these pockets of death, if it stays like this, they then do a counterattack. And that's what we saw with unfortunately, on the Russian side, the Russians using this in Robotine. They allowed the Ukrainians to come up. The Ukrainians, it cost them. It was very costly for the Ukrainians to take Robotine. Now Robotine is almost completely back under Russian control, and the Russians are slowly but surely grinding away at the Ukrainians, all their gains they made in that sector during the 2023 summer offensive. We also have videos of bombers. Just going to show the picture of Ukrainians bombing Belgorod. Another thing they need to do, they need to start bombing inside of Russia, stop the logistics inside of Russia. Now, Wikipedia finally has the page up of the 2024 Kharkiv offensive. And so last time Russia went for Kharkiv, as we all know, they failed. The time afterwards, in the 2022 Kharkiv counteroffensive, some people say one of the best offensives conducted by a military in the whole 21st century. And then they're going again. So are they going to win? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to take the city of Kharkiv. I think if they press for it, they will, but I don't think that's their goal at the moment, to take the city. Again, this could just be a massive distraction to have Ukrainians put troops in Kharkiv and take troops from the Donbas line, or Zaporizhia line, or Kherson line. So obviously, this is only time will tell what is going to happen. Now, according to pro-Russian sources and independent Ukrainian sources, they have captured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 villages already, and that's obviously common for the villages on the border. If we start seeing what we saw in near Avdiivka, in Kharkiv, once you pass the border areas, that's going to be a problem for Ukraine, because they need to just keep this front line open to allow the Russians to realize it was not worth it to make it another military defeat for Russia. If they can't do that, that can be a huge problem for Ukraine, because Russia has shown us they will come to a city within firing range, bomb that city until, no matter the losses, until they take it. They did it with Bakhmut, they did it with Avdiivka, and there's just a bunch of other cities they've done that with. Mariupol, which was one of the first where you got to see that in action. So, it didn't work last time on Kharkiv, but the Russians were not as experienced as they are right now. And they know, hopefully you would think, if you're on the pro-Russian side, that they learn from their mistakes. Again, that could go the opposite way, with saying the Ukrainians all dug in, they have good trenches, and they were expecting this for, I believe it was been talked about for months now. So we are just going to see who ends up coming on top. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.